Welcome to the Caregiver Relief Podcast, where we support, educate, and uplift the unsung heroes, family caregivers. I'm your host, Diane Carbo, an RN and advocate dedicated to helping you navigate the challenges of caregiving with confidence and compassion. This episode is sponsored by myvitalvault.net, your all-in-one life organizer for aging adults and caregivers. It's designed to help you securely store your essential legal, medical, and emergency information in one easy-to-access place. Because when a crisis hits, being prepared can make all the difference. Join our Caregiver Relief community, a warm, welcoming space where you can connect with other caregivers, ask questions, share stories, and find support from people who truly understand. Visit community.caregiverrelief.com to join now, because caregiving is one of the hardest and most meaningful things you'll ever do, and no one should have to do it alone. And if this episode speaks to you, please take a moment to like, share, or comment. Every click helps us reach more caregivers who need encouragement, resources, and hope. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome a very special guest, Wes Michael, founder and president of Rare Patient Voice. Wes has created a groundbreaking platform that connects patients and caregivers with opportunities to share their lived experiences through paid research studies. With over 180,000 participants across more than 1,500 conditions, Rare Patient Voice is helping caregivers and patients alike get their voices heard while being fairly compensated for their time and insights. Wes brings about over 40 years of market research experience, a genuine passion for patient advocacy, and a mission to help improve the lives of those living with health conditions and those caring for them. Wes, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm excited to learn more about your program.
Diane, I'm happy to be here. Caregivers do so much, and so it's always good to reach out to them, talk to them, and see if there's any way we can help at least a little bit.
They're so ignored, and they really are our caregivers. And so any little bit I can do to share with them any knowledge of a program or anything that will help them, I'm willing to do that. So before we dive in, can you tell us a little about yourself? What led you to go from background in marketing research to founding Rare Patient Voice?
It's funny. Yeah. So I used to do marketing and marketing research for food, for Cheerios and Wheaties and for McCormick Spices. And then in the 90s, I got into the healthcare field. I knew nothing about it, but nobody's born knowing anything. Doctors aren't born knowing anything. So it's like you can learn things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I got into that, and I saw, people are excited about their cereal and their spices, but they're really, what's more important than their health or their kids' health or whoever their loved one's health? And so they really wanted to share their stories. It was great to talk and interview them, but it wasn't always easy to find them.
Yes.
Especially those with a rare disease, because there's things in market research called research panels. You can have 1 million people, but the math will tell you you'll have 3 with hemophilia. So what if you wanted to talk to 20 people with hemophilia, or 20 caregivers of kids with hemophilia? And so I saw that a little bit of a disconnect. And through some of the work I had done, I found out how to recruit people. Sticking with hemophilia, go to the hemophilia conference where people come from all over the country, all over the world in some cases.
Yes.
Set up a table, a booth, talk to people, let them know of opportunities. So I knew that had worked. And I said, someday I'm going to do this where I work. And to be honest, I started in hemophilia because a client had asked us. I didn't know whether it would ever go beyond that, but I would go to the hemophilia events, and it worked. People signed up. They're interested. They knew that we were real people because they saw us in person. We knew that they were real people. Our clients loved that we knew that they were real people. And then it started to grow. I went to MS walks, and then now, as you said, over 1,500 different conditions. And as much as I hear about all these conditions and rare, I keep hearing about new ones that I hadn't heard of.
Yes.
It's just amazing. Yeah, so I didn't really plan to do all that, but it happened, and you could tell it was meant to be, because every time I'd hit a problem, something would help solve that problem.
Yes.
And people said, How did we get along with that? I'm like, I don't know, but it's worked very well. And the other thing that's really worked well, I have to say, I started now 12 years ago with this, and it's grown so much. It shows that the companies out there, they've always talked about patient centricity, but I think they're doing it now. They're doing more and more of it. They're wanting to talk to patients, and caregivers are a key part of it. And so many of them, when they use the word patient, they also mean the caregiver, because a child with a certain condition can't speak for themselves, or a senior with Alzheimer's, or anybody with an ALS. The caregiver is their spokesperson.
Yes.
So we have to remind people, are you also including caregivers in this study? And more often than not, they are.
Caregivers are so ignored about everything. They're the invisible second patient in the room when the doctor's visiting, and a lot of their health issues go unaddressed.
Oh, definitely.
They really do. And they're probably developing conditions that you'll be doing. Look, research.
Yeah, we did a survey. I could send you this a few years ago among caregivers, and just asked them about what all the things they do are and how it's affected them. And I remember presenting to a group, and I said, all the caregivers, I said, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. You know how tough it is, but I'll put some numbers behind it because there's so many tasks that people have, and each task is a subset of tasks. There's transportation issues with folks. There's financial issues that impact people because they're a caregiver, and all of a sudden they may not be able to work themselves, or they may have given up a dream job because of what they need to do to take care of someone. There's certainly emotional issues, right? Yeah. There's so much. And then what do they want most? If I only could get competent help to take a little bit of time off. It's 24/7, because it's a 24/7 calling, if you will. So anyway, it's amazing. You're right. They're the hidden gem that's keeping healthcare together, and it's not being paid for.
Family caregivers provide over $650 million a year in unpaid care.
Wow. Yeah.
And they pay dearly for that, because 63% of family caregivers become seriously ill or die from the chronic stress of caring somebody before that person passes.
Yeah. So it's even a worse situation, right? So
it is. I'm really
interested. The patient has no one left to care for them, and the caregiver has driven themselves too far.
Yes, they have. Yeah. And for those who may not be familiar, what exactly is Rare Patient Voice, and how does it serve patients and caregivers?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So what we do, we like the position, we're like a matchmaker. We go, as I said, to events and all, and people sign up as patients and caregivers with any and all diseases. Now, we have the name Rare in our voice, in our title, but over time, we work with any and all conditions. Around that, I just didn't realize people had that, couldn't find them. They can't. They come to us for, so we let people sign up. And when people sign up, what we do is we get requests every day from research firms, reputable companies that do surveys, that do interviews. They're generally doing it on behalf of pharmaceutical or biotech firms.
Right.
They have a new drug coming out, or a treatment or a service. They've always talked to physicians, and that's important, obviously. But more and more, what about the people that are trying to use it? Let's talk. So they talk to them. So they come to us and say, or those biotech firms will go to a research firm and say, we want to talk to 20 people with lupus, or we want to talk to caregivers of hemophilia patients, or caregivers of SMA, whatever it might be. Yeah. And they develop a survey, they develop an interview, they figure it all out, and they go, oh my goodness, how are we going to find these? Then that firm comes to us, and we say, oh, we have X people who've signed up, and we matchmake. We send an email out. Mm-hmm. You don't call, who answers the phone now? You get all this. Yeah. All my best friends apparently are called potential spam on my phone. And we send an email out, and we tell people what it's all about. Hey, it's an hour Zoom interview on the topic of some disease or some condition. And we pay people for it. We pay people at the rate of $120 per hour. So if it's an hour interview, they get $120. If it's a half-hour online survey, they would get $60. And I'm proud to say we've paid out over $15 million since we got started.
Wow.
And I love that, because people, when we ask people why they do it, that's not the first thing. The most important thing is, oh my God, somebody cares to hear what I have to say. I have a voice, I have an opinion. I want them to hear this. And then, oh, by the way, the money's nice. It helped the holiday. It helped me. My grandson had a birthday, or it was Christmas, or what? It helped people.
Yes.
And to me, it's like people should be rewarded for their time. Their time is valuable. Caregivers, they don't have a minute to spare. So their time is very valuable.
Yes.
So that's what we do. We're the matchmaker. We have folks, we protect their identity. We don't share their names with anybody. Everybody gets a long alphanumeric code. So our clients will know what code did it. They'll do the interview or they'll see the survey results, but they don't know who did it. We don't see the results. We don't see the interview, but we know that Mrs. Smith did it and we pay her. So it's really a great system to keep people confidential, yet give them a chance to say what they want to say. And that's, if you're in these pharmaceutical companies and you're making decisions, there's a lot of decisions to be made. How do we set up our clinical trials, or how do we go to market, or what should we promote the most, or are people confused about? They can't just guess at the answers. They need to talk to people.
Yes.
And so it's a real win-win. Patients love it that somebody cares and they get paid. The clients love it. We send out an email, within a day they start getting responses. So they're happy to get folks and hear what they have to say. And we charge them a fee. So we're happy too.
Yes. Yes.
It's a win all the way around.
So what kind of studies do participants typically get involved in? And can you give us some examples of how their feedback has influenced real world decisions?
Yeah, there are so many different things. Whatever issues a company might have, so often it's when it's they're working on a new treatment, a new drug, a new medicine of some kind. And it doesn't even have a name yet, or if it does, nobody's saying. And they'll have a written description of it. They typically call it product X because it does.
Okay.
And they want to get feedback on that written description. Do they understand it? Would they talk to their doctor about it? And patients and caregivers love it because it's like a sneak preview of drugs that hopefully will soon be approved and be available.
Yeah.
They get, I'm going to look for that because that sounds like it serves a need, something that we don't have yet. So often it could be a Zoom interview where they read that or show that description and they get your feedback. They want your feedback. Or it could be an online survey that does that as well. There are also studies where they want to go into someone's home. So obviously you volunteer for that. My wife says, no, we'd have to vacuum. But they'll come because they want to see what life is like. People can talk, but you could see, oh, wait a minute. Not only do they have a child with a disease, there's 2 other kids they have to care for, and they have to balance. They see the real world and how it goes on. And I think that's so important for companies trying to think of not just the drugs, but the services that the patients and the caregivers might need.
And we also have those with the sandwich generation where they're taking care of their children and the elderly parents. That's a real challenge in itself as well.
And then they have no time left for their...
Absolutely none at all. So now you recently conducted a survey of 735 family caregivers. Yeah. What were the most surprising or impactful findings?
Yeah, I think 2020 hindsight, I guess it's not surprising, but how emotionally drained, how psychologically impacted people are by that weight. They're doing it out of love, but it's a never-ending task without a break that takes away from everything else. And the comments people have are just amazing. It'd be like, my friends, they think I don't want to be friends with them anymore. That's not the case. I just don't have time. I can't get away from my child or my loved one that I'm taking care of. Even family members don't always understand what they're going through.
I encourage all my caregivers to create a care team partner approach, to have people around you that will provide practical assistance. Transportation is one, dog sitting, walking, pet sitting, even just having meals being brought in on occasion or on a regular basis. If uninvolved family members and uninvolved siblings, they should be able to, or extended family members should be able to provide that support, help with the laundry, help with the cleaning, hire a cleaning lady. If there's somebody else in the family, the primary caregiver is doing all the work, there has to be someone that gives them relief. And this can be done on a volunteer basis as well as paid, and the pay should be coming from the uninvolved extended family members. I know nobody wants to hear that, but that's the reality.
It's got to be shared somehow.
It's got to be shared.
So often, and we have a situation like this, and I bet virtually everybody has a situation like that. One or more folks may live close by to the patient, and others may not. And obviously, if you don't live there, it's not as easy to do things. But as you're saying, there are ways to contribute to help with that.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't all fall on the person that, like, we live 10 minutes away from my father-in-law, and he's 94, and he was doing great until recently, and he's really gone downhill. And he's got care and all that, but is my wife out there every day? Is she taking care of things? Do we get calls in the middle of the night?
Yes.
And her relatives are well-meaning and all, but they just can't be there as often.
Yeah.
It's nice to, I think you bring up a great point. It's almost lay out a plan of, hey, who can do what, but if you can't, there's other ways, as you say, to financially.
Absolutely. There's research somebody can do from long distances. There is medication management can even be done from long distances, somebody managing the medications when they're ordered and, getting everything together in an organized fashion. There are things that people can do. In fact, even activities are a big part of everybody's life. They should be. Yeah. And caregivers don't utilize care activities as a way to get a break or a respite, but have someone in to come and play music or color or whatever they like to do or are capable of doing. It's possible to get little breaks.
Yeah. And every break helps. You just need to take a breath.
Absolutely.
Get away for a second, take a walk at the very least, because people are ignoring their own health, and mental as well as physical. And you can't do that. It'd be nice to people, because then guess what? You're going to need a caregiver. And let's prevent some of that by getting those breaks as possible. But it's work to get that to happen. You got to work with your other siblings.
Absolutely. So what do you think is the biggest misconception society has about family caregivers from your response to the...
I guess they don't realize one thing that people don't think as much about is the financial impact it has.
Yes.
And so many people would tell us, some woman was like a Harvard MBA, but her kids come first, and they can't do that full-time job or any job because they're 24/7, and they have to move to a different location because they might need to be near a medical center that handles that particular disease. And it's obviously constrained marriages. And then if a marriage falls apart, the financial issues get even worse.
Even worse, yes.
So it's amazing. I think people just think, oh, the finances are not part of it, but it's one of many issues. But I think it's somewhat invisible to people how important that can be. And then again, if you wanted to get some help and you have to pay for it, where's that money come from?
Statistics show that family caregivers spend about 25% of their income on providing care for another.
So they've lost income on the one hand and are spending out more on the other.
Yes,
it's a real tough situation.
Now, financial support came up as one of the most requested forms of help. How does Rare Patient Voice help address that need?
We help in a little way. I think it's by the fact that we do compensate people for taking part. And as I said, at the rate of $120 per hour, we have folks, hundreds of every year, that we have to send a 1099 to, meaning they've earned over $600.
Wow.
Now, the other opportunity we have we call it referral partners. So patients know other patients, caregivers know other patients.
Absolutely.
We were dealing once with doing SMA, spinal muscular atrophy, horrible condition, dealing generally with the parents. And when we say parents, more often than not, who is it? It's the mom, right?
Yeah, mom.
Some dads, but again, moms think caregiving falls much more heavily on. In my family, it's my wife's taking care of her dad more than how it goes. But anyway.
It's just the nature of our culture.
Yeah, exactly. The female is the caregiver and the male is the breadwinner. Well, the women are earning bread as much.
Yes. Can any caregiver or senior join Rare Patient Voice? And what's the process like for someone who's interested in
anybody with any kind of condition? It's funny. Sometimes we'll go to an event and somebody says, I don't have anything. I'm like, I don't have a bucket to put you in. I have to put some, but it doesn't have to, people have diabetes or high blood pressure or asthma. It can be any and all conditions. Again, not necessarily themselves, but the person they're caring for.
Yes.
Or a spouse of somebody. And you might think, they don't need me as a caregiver. You qualify as a caregiver if you're involved at all. If you're going to medical, and different surveys will have different questions to how they might define it. But so virtually anybody either has something or is watching somebody with that. And so if somebody is that and is interested, they want to take part, share their opinions and their stories and earn the compensation. We welcome everybody to sign up. They can go online, rarepatientvoice.com, and all over you'll see sign up here or a link to sign up. That reminds me where I lost my train on the earlier question is how we can help folks. The referral partners. So if some people, patients know other patients, so they spread the word, or they might be in a support group, or it could be friends, relatives. We pay $10 each for people. We don't ask you to send names because that's not, but if you tell somebody, and we can give you your own link so we can track, you can say, you can put it in an email or put it in a Facebook, and they sign up through that link. We give you, the referral partner, credit. And we have folks that make it like a part-time job. Every week we're sending a check out to them, or a gift card, whatever they prefer. And so again, that's another way. If you're, some people are very social, they know a lot of people, they spread the word, and they love to do that. And so that they can make, again, you're not going to get rich, but every $10 adds up.
It does. Now, are there protections in place to ensure the privacy and ethical treatment of participants?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. All your information is important, but health information is so important. There's no reason any of that should be out and available and anybody can see. So what we do is, one, we never share your information with anybody. We don't, and you're not getting any ads from us. The only thing we do is send an email when we have a study that you might be interested because of the conditions you have, or your patient, your loved one has. We'll send you an email if we see a match. And we go through, believe me, this is important stuff for us. We go through auditing and security. We're what they call ISO 27001 certified. So we have to be very careful. How are we keeping this data? We keep it in these HIPAA approved platforms so people can't just break into it. We don't share it. And we work with our clients to not put anything like in an email. It's got to be very secure. So we take that very seriously because our business is based on trust. If people don't trust us, we're out of business. So we have to do it. It's obviously the right thing, but we have to do it just to stay in business.
Exactly. And HIPAA compliance is taken very seriously by everyone because you'd lose your business if you weren't HIPAA compliant. People need to understand that. For caregivers who may be hesitant or unsure about participating, what would you say to encourage them?
I always tell people, if you're the boss, if you're not sure, try something. You don't have to do anything. We can send an email and you can decline every single one. That's totally up to you. But if you start an interview, and I never have this happen because the interviewers, for the companies I work with, they're so nice, they're so empathetic, they're so knowledgeable. But if somebody asks you a question you don't want to answer, you know what I tell them? You're the boss. You can be like a politician. You don't have to answer that question. You know how they always answer, they say what they want to say no matter what the question was.
Yes.
If they're putting you in a position where you can just decline. You're the boss. Don't let anybody force you to do it. If you're doing a survey and you don't like it, you can just stop it and quit it. So I tell people, so don't worry. Again, we very rarely get people do that. But if you're hesitant about starting, realize at any time you can drop off. Nobody's going to bug you. Nobody's going to do anything about it. It's your right. You can always do it. We even do something. I love this. One of our folks thought of this. I said we send an email when we have a study. We might send 2 or 3 reminder emails over the course, because you know how people are. They see it on their phone. They say, when I get to at home, I'll do this, and they might forget.
Yep.
So we want to remind people, but we don't want to annoy them. And we have a button for people to push where they can say, I'm not interested in this study, but don't kick me out altogether. I want to do other studies, but don't send me any reminders, and we're happy to say, okay, they don't want to do it. We're not going to put 2 or 3 more emails in their inbox, because that can annoy people. So we want to make it so people like us and like to do it. We don't want to be annoying.
Absolutely. You want people to participate. Yeah. Voices need to be heard, and you're giving a platform, an unusual platform, but a much needed platform for family, seniors, caregivers, and parents of young children with disability conditions. Absolutely. So what's the most rewarding part of your work that you do with Rare Patient Voice?
I think it's when we go out to these events, these patient events. It could be a walk or a conference, fundraisers for these different conditions. And I'll see people or their caregivers of folks with just horrible diseases. Everyone's worse than the one. And I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, these people they're here because they're fighting it. They're doing something. Sometimes they have lost their loved one, but they still come because they say, I want to help others. And I think I'm not seeing them on the day they got diagnosed. That probably was not the best day, but they've taken that and they're doing something about it. They're raising awareness. They're coming out here. They're helping. And that's so inspirational. And to so many people, it's just all in a day's work. So many people whose family members have a rare disease, if they haven't found an organization, they start their own. That's how these organizations get started.
Yes.
It's so amazing to have people have that they pull back some more energy because they're doing that on top of everything else they're doing. You can imagine a caregiver with all the work they do. And then on top of that, they say, we got to start a group, a support group, an advocacy group. And it's just amazing to me. So that to me, it's so rewarding.
That's amazing to me too, because caregivers are exhausted. And when they have the fight in them to do something more than above and beyond, it's always incredible to me that they're doing it. But it's a lot of it's done out of love. A lot of it's done out of concern for future generations. So maybe a genetic thing, and they're just really willing to put that effort in.
I know some people, I've heard some say, I wish I'd paid more attention in biology class in high school. And then they become, as you can imagine, they become an expert.
Yes.
More than their family doctor about a certain disease, because they put all their energy into understanding it and doing it and trying to find a researcher that might study the disease that might help people in the future. It's amazing.
I recently did a podcast with a bodybuilder, and she's over 60. And I have to tell you, she has worked with MS patients and Parkinson's patients and found that they didn't have to heavy lift, but just lifting weights could delay or the progression of the disease. And it's amazing. So there are things that, and she just found that out just by start doing research and working out and learning these things. And then she had these clients come in that said, hey, can you help us? And she did the research and found that. And it's amazing what she's doing. So there's different things like that people don't know about.
One of our staff members has MS. Actually, several have it, but one has MS, and he's always going to the gym. And it's the best thing you can do is he's taken that lesson to heart. It's like, let's delay the decline or stop the decline.
Yeah, anything you can do to delay the decline and give you a better quality of life for a longer period is really important to everybody. So now, Wes, looking ahead, what's your vision for Rare Patient Voice, and how can seniors and caregivers play a bigger role in shaping the future of healthcare?
Yeah, the most important thing for us is to constantly have more folks, because no matter what we have, people want more. We can get them 20 people with lupus with a specific criteria, they wanted 30. So we're always looking to invite more people. That's why I love people to join. I love people to become referral partners. We love that because the more we have, the more we can offer. And then people will have a voice, because everything people say, you're good with statistics. You've quoted some from a thing, and statistics are very important. What really moves people are stories, right? And an executive at some pharma company, he might see a pie chart, and he might see this and that. But then when he sees an interview with a caregiver talking about what it means to her, that's what gets action more than anything, I think. It's a combination of all of that, but people have to realize how powerful their stories can be. You may hear a lot of the groups that go and have to lobby. They do the state legislatures and they go to Washington. And there's nothing more powerful than being there, either in person or video, and talking, because diseases know no political party, right? Anybody.
Yep. Exactly.
And you can really make a statement about what needs to be done. And so true with caregivers, as we're talking about a way to financially help them out from the billions that they're putting into it without any compensation.
Yes, absolutely. Wes, I want to thank you for your time today. Please tell my listeners out there how they can find you.
A couple ways. Our website is always real good. We have our thing on, that's rarepatientvoice.com. And then I'm big on LinkedIn. I think I'm the only Wes Michael out there on LinkedIn. Our team has wonderful Facebook page.
Okay.
They're always, and we have 45,000 followers on it. So I encourage people, because they'll put inspirational messages. They'll put when there's a certain study going on that we look for more. They'll put lots of news that people find really interesting. So I encourage people to go there. They even have some Facebook Live things where some of our folks will get on and have a little talk or a show. It's just terrific. But I'm more on the business side, so I'm a little bit more involved in LinkedIn. So I see those things before I see the others.
I want to thank you for your time and let my listeners know all that information that he's just giving will be put at the bottom of our page. I create a page for every podcast with a transcript. And at the bottom, I always put the links to the businesses and all of your media and stuff.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for your time. And I'm looking forward to sharing this with others.
Very good. It's been a pleasure, Diane.
Thank you. To my family caregivers out there, remember, you are the most important part of the caregiving equation. Without you, it all falls apart. So please learn to be gentle with yourself. Practice self-care every day because you are worth it.